Let's welcome Neil Hartman back to Philly Pressbox Radio. Neil, welcome. Join the frankness.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to be with you. And look, Joel Embiid's not soft, not when he scores 79, and he's the cornerstone of what could be a championship team, or might be a championship team.
There you go. Bill, you'll get your turn. Don't worry.
I'm ready for it.
Let's talk a little Sixers first of all, Neil. After a rough opening game loss to the Hawks, they came back strong, as I said, in Game 2. Doc made some adjustments. How's this series going to play out, do you think? Do the Sixers have enough to beat these guys in 5 or 6?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think it's 7.
Yeah.
I think this is going 7. I think Atlanta is going to have. I think they're going to win a game in Atlanta. I think it's going to come back to Philadelphia. And can the Sixers wrap it up in 6? Possibly, but I really think this Atlanta team is scary.
Yeah,
just so many weapons on the outside. Tough matchups for the Sixers, guarding them defensively. But then again, they can't stop Joel Embiid, but that's okay. They're not trying to stop him. They're trying to make sure that everybody else doesn't have, Tobias doesn't have a big game. Ben Simmons has, he's done some nice things defensively, but I'd like to see him kind of stimulate that offense a little bit more with what his skill sets, what he brings to the table. Doc did sit him down there when they started doing that hack of Ben last night. So, look, great series. Atlanta's better than I thought. I'll say that. They're definitely better than I thought.
Well, I thought it was interesting, Neil, social media-wise, Doc Rivers getting a lot of heat after Game 1 for not making adjustments. He made some adjustments, some nice adjustments in Game 2. To me, the biggest one is he basically sacrificed Ben Simmons offensively and said, just go out and deal the ball around. Don't worry about shooting. Play defense. And he did.
Well, look, Trae Young's a really clever player. I've seen now a couple of occasions in both games where he initiates the contact, gets the call. And look, I didn't see a lot of Atlanta games all season long, but my sense is that he's been doing that all season long, and he gets away with it. When you put someone with size with the length of Thibault on him, I mean, it makes it really, really difficult for him to create. Now, look, I thought they did a good job with him last night. He made that 1-3 that was from like just a couple of steps beyond midcourt, but beyond that, they really had him under control. So I think, it's going to be a chess match going back and forth. But what Tobias talked about after the game, how they put different bodies on him and trying to, change things up, how they're going to defend him. And I think you're going to have to do that because he's a very clever player. He's a very smart player, and they know how to find him, and he knows how to find his teammates too. Give him credit. The guy has very good vision on the court whenever he's double teamed or senses someone's open underneath.
Well, we talk a lot about Ben Simmons here. If the Sixers, say, come up short in this series, is he going to be the fall guy? Are they going to look to perhaps trade him, get him out of town?
Well, he doesn't make it easy on himself when you miss free throws. And, look, Doc, after I think it was Game 1, or maybe it was in the last series, he said, well, you want me to bench Ben Simmons? Well, then he has a chance last night. And he didn't want to put up with it. Ben missed 2 free throws. Next time out, he takes them out, waits till the 2 minutes left in the game, puts them back into the game. Look, the free throws are going to be something that, free throws, jump shots, but he does do a lot of really good things. He does. When he pushes that basketball, when he plays defense and stops the best player on the other team, he's a nightmare for opponents, particularly defensively, and then what he can do offensively from a passing standpoint. But it's I guess the word's annoying that he doesn't shoot the ball. I'm there going like, shoot the ball. I mean, like, or drive or initiate something. So yes, he's going to get his share of heat. I think Doc Rivers might, depending on how he goes about coaching this series. But if you lose to Atlanta and you're the number 1 seed, that's not going to sit well with Philadelphia fans.
For sure. Hey, Neil, Joel Embiid is not your MVP. Played in 51 of 72 games. I would certainly think that's the reason he's not the MVP. If it was the best player award for games played, it would be a runaway, you think?
If he played every game, there's no question. I think it's when he's on the floor. I still think he's the best player in the NBA. look, Jokic is he's a great player. You see him a little bit more during the playoffs now, and he's a terrific player. So is Doncic. He's a good player. So is look, a great year for Chris Paul, great year for Steph Curry. I mean, there's a lot of players had really good years, but when Joel Embiid is on the floor and he's playing at the level he's playing at right now, forget about the meniscus. He's dominating. He's just dominating on both sides of the floor. He can impact a team defensively, and he gives the Sixers this sense of security, knowing you have this huge body in the lane that can help you defensively. And then offensively, look, when he's hitting those threes, how do you guard the guy? I mean, like, you're going to give him open three because he can beat you off the dribble. Any big man, he can beat off the dribble, or he has great foot movement, or great, his foot movement's terrific around the hoop. If he were healthy all season long, he would be the MVP.
Agreed. Let's talk about some guys who are not playing all that well. That's your 2021 Philadelphia Phillies. Neil, they're just frustrating to watch. I think I heard today they've already blown 6 games that they were leading after the 7th inning, which is kind of a repeat of last year in the shortened season. Is it Joe Girardi? Is it just a decision on who they're getting for these bullpen guys? I thought the bullpen was going to be a lot better this year, but so far it's still kind of shaky.
It's just helter-skelter. I mean, what did they score? 17 runs that one game last week? I mean, you're like, how do you go from like scoring no runs to scoring 17 runs in a game? Like, what happened? Like, I can't figure it out. I can't point my finger and say this is the reason why they do this one game and they don't do it the next game. Injuries. I mean, when Bryce Harper goes out, that was a blow, and that certainly began the tailspin a little bit. Pitching has been, Aaron Nola has not been Aaron Nola.
Mm-hmm.
He just has not. And, Zach Wheeler's been great. There's been moments where you could say other people have gotten the job done, but right now it's really difficult to watch the Phillies play because you expect them to be better than what they're playing right now.
Yeah, and the only thing that's been consistent for them all season long is their defense is awful. Night in and night out. They're just not good. I mean, Andrew McCutchen, who's got a couple or at least one Gold Glove to his credit, he looks like he's never been in left field before. Struggling, and a whole bunch of them. And just every night it's somebody else defensively.
Well, I think any championship team in any sport, I think we always overlook, maybe not in the NFL, but you overlook defense. Like in the NBA, if you play good defense, you're going to be in just about any game because you're going to keep it low scoring. You're going to control the tempo. There's a lot of things that you can control if you play good defense. And in baseball, if you don't play good defense, you can't keep giving teams outs. You're not good enough to give teams outs. And the Phillies give teams outs. They're giving them extra outs. It's just not a way to go about playing the game. So, sometimes is Reese Hoskins a good defensive first baseman? Can he play the? You mentioned the outfield. I mean, we've had how many center fielders have we already seen this year in center? It's just. Look, when actually one of the things that surprised me when Bryce Harper first came from Washington, I was actually impressed with how well he played defensively, but I don't know if he's still been at that level, since then. So you make a good point, Bill. All of this throw all this into a bowl and, kind of mixing it up and it's not looking good for what we were hoping would be a improvement from last year and a team that would compete in the NL East. Fortunately, the NL East, no one's taken off. So you have an opportunity to be able to stay in the hunt, but you got to clear up some of these problems.